Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It has been an interesting day in the market, let me say that. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that, y'all, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla, and Tesla has been interesting, right? Let's start with that. I'm going to go to, I normally like to look at my 30-minute chart. It just gives me everything that I need to see. I like to look at the 30-minute, right? So we had a pre-market yesterday on the 19th, after Fed Powell said what he said and did what he did, whatever he said to make the market move the way that it did. Still trying to figure out that portion of it, right? But we had a high of 242. Not sure why I'm saying pre-market, but we had a market high of 242.52, right? What was interesting is how Tesla had been moving sideways, right? Pre-market, we moved up a little bit, only to come up to this 241, back to the down and back to the up again. It was just challenging for me to see Tesla at that place, because I was like, we were just in the, down in this range around the 232. So we went from that 232 up to the 242, which is not surprising for Tesla. I say so often, Tesla does what it does, right? But looking at it this morning, I was like, okay, Tesla seemed to be moving sideways. It was interesting, not really interesting, it was just Tesla, to have this back at this area here of the 232 range. So pre-market, we were at the 232 range. We went up, made a high here of the 238, which, that's where we stayed, right? Yeah, this 238 is where we stayed for some reason. Now, what's interesting is Tesla, it looks like my battery's about to go out, but I'm going to get through this. So Tesla traded sideways majority of the day. And how can we figure that out? Let me show you by going to a smaller time. We see it on the 30-minute chart clearly that we're kind of like back in this area before the, where we were on yesterday, before the Fed Powell spoke. And we came back to that place today, and that's where we've been trading majority of the day. So if you traded Tesla and expected this move back to the upside, when I saw that we didn't make a new high, it was interesting that we didn't make a new high, so I needed to watch that. But the sideways movement up to this level here of the 238, only to come back down, and we back in this zone again. Seemed like we just stayed in this area. So tomorrow I definitely need to watch the 232.25 area for Tesla, because breaking this level, meaning, we've broken down under the support level that we've been holding, or range that we've been trading in. And I'm going to go to the smaller time frame so I can show you the range that we were in. Now, we are an inside day candle, meaning if it should break under this 230, the downside target is 229.90, 229.20, which it would not surprise me to see Tesla back in that area. I say that so often. Tesla does what it does, right? So I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart just to point something out. So this was how Tesla was trading pre-market. So, we came off of this 242 area, only to come down, bounce off this 229 here, back to this area here at the 232 range, and it's like it traded there for a while. Let's say from 6:30 up until about 9:30, we traded in this area. Yeah, we tried to go out up and try to break, but we never made a new high, which was interesting that we stayed kind of like in this zone. So if you're technically, Tesla really traded at this 232.25 area up to this area of 238.27. That was our zone all day long for Tesla. So that means we basically moved sideways and really didn't make some really strong moves. However, if you are a scalper, let me say that, there's areas that you could have definitely got in on some position, got in if you're trading options. Again, the great thing about options, you can make money on the way up or on the way down. So breaking out of this area, take us up to the upside here. You could have bought in off of this bottom back to the upside out, and then I would have gotten completely out. Sideways movement, I don't like that. Now this was my trade here from this downside movement, from this level down to this level. That was a trade for me, and then it went sideways only to go back to the upside. However, we did not make a new high, which is interesting. We did break slightly above the ORB high, and we got rejected at this ATR trailing stop. In my opinion, that's strong support or strong resistance. In this case, it is strong resistance for us, which is about here. And then once we broke, we got rejected here. We can't. So this was my next trade was to the downside here for Tesla. So I was in this trade to the downside and this trade to the downside. I wasn't really feeling this upside movement, although it could have been I could have entered at that. I was just like, we're failing to make a new high. That's what I think my mind was at with Tesla. We're failing to make a new high. So what's interesting is we test this level 1, 2, 3. We moved up towards the end of the day. Not surprising, right? I mean, look at the roller coaster, up, down, up, down, up. It wouldn't surprise me to come back to this level again. Breaking this level tomorrow at the 230, 225 would be interesting, or just breaking this level in itself at the 232 area would be interesting for me. That tells me that we are definitely having some issues with Tesla. Now tomorrow, if by chance we break it back to the upside, I would like to see it back above the 238 area. It definitely needs to break above that 238. Let's see the high of this. The ORB high was the 238.34. Let's say this candle's 238. This candle here high was 236.85. Let me go back to that one. 237.52. So we had a high today of the 238 area, 238, and then the 237. So I would like to see it break above this 238 area, so I can get some type of confirmation as to we could possibly go back to the upside. So if by chance we do not break that and we just stay in this zone here, again, it will be a scalping move for me. I will wait on confirmation to, find my gathering spot, which, looking at this 5 minute, that will be here. Find my gathering spot, and as soon as they make a decision on which direction it wants to go, I want to trade in that direction, right? I have confirmation with my 5 and 50 crossing. I like to see that. My MACD crossing is another signal. I like to see that. Now, once we move sideways again, as we did here, guess what? I had another confirmation. Our MACD separated. There was a crossing here. So that was something that I really like to see for Tesla. And that 5 and 50 crossing right there was my confirmation. If I could have entered it back, I did not at the time, because I just did not like this little movement here. Again, I knew that we had some trouble places here, here, and here. So I needed to be careful if I was to enter the trade. Well, guess what? I'd like to see. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. I like to see these rejection candles here. So looking at it, it got rejected, and I'm going to zoom back out. It got rejected here, and once it got rejected and came back down, I kind of like to see those areas right there. So that was a very nice scalping move right there, in my opinion. My MACD gave me a signal here, and I had that 5 and 50 crossing, and then I had some lower low candles here. I like to see that. So those are things that, I like to see. But what I really wanted to point out is with trading Tesla today, looking at pre-market is very, very important. A lot of times people just don't make time for that. They just want to jump in the game without actually studying the game. But looking at the 30-minute chart gives me a story. It tells me a story as to what's going on. I knew that we were having some issues pre-market looking at Tesla, and as you can see, we traded in a range, a very small range in reference to Tesla, because Tesla normally exceeds the ATR, which is the average true range for the stock. So I encourage you, I say to you, if whatever it is that you like to trade, make sure you get do your research or do your homework or study it a little bit more, especially pre-market. Find out where your levels are, mark your levels. Those are important. So I would have marked this bottom here and this, at the time, this high here. So if I would have traded Tesla, I would have waited until it broke past the level of where it had been trading all morning long, right? So it's been trading in a zone, sideways, gathering spot, whatever it is that however you want to say it. It was trading sideways for a long time, and my levels were marked. When I break past this is where I want to enter, I need confirmation. I wait on other things. Again, I mentioned the 5 and 50 crossing. I mentioned the MACD, 3 higher highs or 3 lower lows, whatever it is, but I want other things to confirm that it's okay to enter the trade to the upside or to the downside. Again, it's very important that you go and mark your levels. Make sure you understand where you are pre-market before jumping into the trade. Again, this is my review of Tesla. It was a nice decline, interesting decline right here. Would have been nice to be in this right here, right? Now only to go sideways. And, when the market opened, it gave us an entry for a scalping move, in my opinion. Again, I don't swing trade because with Tesla, anything is possible. We can get some news and guess what? It goes back in the opposite direction. So in this time, in this place, in my opinion, I don't think it's safe for me to, to swing trade Tesla. I trade what I see, and whatever levels it gives me, that's the direction that I want to go. So y'all, again, this is my recap of Tesla today. I hope that everyone have an awesome day today. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, y'all be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.